Thanks again and welcome back to the Bitter Project with RJ Menard. We're going to do a very classic cocktail tonight, something that is actually new to me, but dates back to the early 1900s. This is a very classic cocktail, originally incepted in an area called Burma, which is no longer around, but it's still such a sexy little name. I just love it. It's when the English took over in India and sort of put a footprint out there. They had several bars in the local areas that they set up that resembled bars back in England. This bar was called the Pegu Club Bar, and it was next to the Pegu River, P-E-G-U, and that's out in India. Along that river, there's a beautiful, let's say bouquet, if you will, of citrus and lemon predominantly. There's a lot of kefir lime leaf and certain flavors that predominate their cuisine out there. That's why I chose today's alcohol to come with this is Song Kai. And Song Kai is a Vietnamese lemongrass based gin. And this drink, being gin based, you might think already where you know it's going to go. It's not. It's a gin margarita. It's a gin sour. No, it's sort of in between. It is its own little creation, and it balances between several little variations on cocktails. They relate it in some writings to margaritas, and some to a sour, and some to its own realm. So do with it what you may. Some cocktail recipes call for a triple sec or curacao. Some call for Cointreau specifically. And as the cocktails developed and it was reinvented or sort of reinvigorated in the 2000s, around 2005 if I'm not mistaken, in New York at the Pegu Club down there. And it was an integral part in the club cocktail mixology sort of boost, the boom that hit in the early 2000s that's still continuing today. We're still seeing the ripples throughout, and that's, a lot of the major bartenders, the key players that run some of the best bars in the world, the Death and Companies and the places, the 40/40 clubs, the places that are hard to get into because the bartenders are just so experienced, so knowledgeable, have a palate that create cocktails or recreate classics in this case in a way that nobody else does or nobody else dares to. As simple as this cocktail is, and as most often I like to have a glassware that matches the cocktail, I had to choose some of my wife and I's most beautiful, precious coupe glasses. These are from our vintage Indiana glasses. This is Harlequin black glass. It's not going to show you the cocktail very much because it is gorgeous and black all the way through. But man, if this is not one of the most beautiful pieces that we have, I just have to have a cocktail out of it. As we go through, you'll see, but to walk you through it very simply, we're going to go with Song Kai, that beautiful Vietnamese gin, the Clement Creole orange shrub. If you watch any of my videos and I use anything that's like a curacao or triple sec, this is my go-to. This is actually my second bottle since I started this whole project about a year ago. I love this stuff. This is honestly my go-to because I think it's just got a bigger depth to anything. We've got fresh lime juice, already squeezed. My glass has already been chilled. The reason why this is not a true sour, one, in place of sugar we're using, in this case, a Creole Shrubb, but the bitters, we're going to only do a drop of each. We're not adding a ton of bitters. One, because the Bitter Project creates a bitter that's very potent. You don't need a lot of it to begin with. But two, because this is not a bitter cocktail. The bitters are meant to just sort of put on a pedestal the citrus and the simple herbaceous or floral notes in this case of the gin, to lift them up, to build them up. And like I often refer to my little buddy Remy, that's cheese and that strawberry, and you put it together and it blows up. They're both equally amazing just by themselves, but a little bit of a pedestal helps it lift to another level. So to get this started, we've got our glass chilled. Like I said, we're going to do a simple dry build. We get that Song Kai going. We're going to go 2 full ounces of that Song Kai. That is the base of this cocktail. As you pour it, that Song Kai is so beautiful. The notes of lemongrass, the light citrus to it, almost a yuzu thing to it is what I've been told. Just gorgeous. We're just going to go with a 3/4 ounce on the Creole Shrubb. That is our sugar and a lot of our citrus or sweetness going through, along with a 1/2 ounce of our fresh squeezed lime. Now that fresh squeezed lime is fresh. This is a big juicy lime. Got a good amount in there. Oh, hey now. Ding-a-ding-ding-ding. just a drop of each bitter. Now we're actually going to put these in before the shake because we really want these to incorporate. This is not just meant for a nice nose. This is texture as well as nose and mouth and everything. We want all this. I went with the Cardamom Bitters, my favorite thing that I've made maybe ever, and the spiced orange from Bitter Project. The spiced orange is the staple of the bitters that I make. This is the go-to. This is the kick Reagan's butt and stands along the lines of some of the best bitters I've ever had. The cardamom stands on top of it. It's just exceptional. So to this glass, we're going to add a little ice, and then we're going to shake it on up. When we shake this up, we're going to double strain because I want no ice. And I do want to increase a little bit more aeration, again, back to that texture thing. You know, that is the difference a lot of times with different bartenders. I can have the same bartenders, 3 guys standing in a row, 3 ladies, however you want to put it, that have the same exact recipe. They pour the exact same measurements. They're putting the same ingredients in the glass, but the way they shake the glass, the way they strain the glass, everything that they do to that cocktail is going to create a slight difference. The aeration effect by how hard or how soft they cook that cocktail, the aeration effect that can be created by passing it through a sieve or not. There's a combination of everything that sort of creates what you get in the glass. So it's always really interesting when you get that one regular that says, well, I like it the way Johnny makes it. You know, he can't be totally right in that. Johnny could still be doing the exact same drink, and as a bar manager before, sometimes I've guessed, gosh, did I do that differently than Johnny, or did Johnny do that differently than me? The ingredients could be exactly the same, but if the technique's slightly different, well, it's going to be a different drink. Oh, so pretty. That ice needs to go on that glass. Oh, beautiful chilled coupe glass. Oh, 1952 Indiana Black Harlequin. It is sexy. This is the Pegu Club Cocktail. Oh my goodness. Frothy, pretty, big nose. Right to the brim as it should be. Now here's the difference. You don't do this often in cocktails. I've maybe only seen 2 or 3 that called for it. We're going to do a lime swath. That lime swath, a little bit of the lime oils over the top. Drop it in, nothing more. I'm not going to rim it. I don't want to put too much oil in front of your face before you get a sip on this drink. Lime oils are oh so intense. My hands are going to smell like lime for the next day. This cocktail is finished, and man, it is one beauty of a cocktail. Please, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful time making this. Make variations on it. But the Pegu Club in the early 1920s in India, I'll be thinking of you. Have a great and wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll see you next time.